So now, Rob, I'm going to ask you questions about each three of these categories. First category is of those people who currently have a job and have not been laid off. Second are those people who have recently been laid off. And third are those students who are about to graduate and are looking for a job in this market. So let us discuss each of these groups. More the volatility in an industry, the chances of getting laid off are higher. In recent weeks, you must have seen dozens of companies laying off thousands of employees. And these companies include big tech giants such as Meta, Amazon, HP, Carvana, and Lyft among others. This year alone, in 2022, more than 100,000 employees across companies have been laid off. And among those who are laid off, the worst affected are those working on work visas such as H-1B. And that is because if you are on H-1B visa and you get laid off, you only have 60 days to find another employment. If you fail to get another job within those 60 days, you need to pack your bags and uproot yourself from this country where you have spent years building your career. And this situation causes immense stress and pain for people. Just think about it. How can one find an alternate job within 60 days when people in other companies are also losing their jobs? And to make it worse, more and more companies are enforcing hiring freezes. Recently, there was a news story of a Meta employee who was sent to Canada for work, and 3 days after reaching Canada, that employee was laid off. And there are many such heartbreaking stories out there. And as per numerous other reports, 2023 is going to be even more difficult of a year in the job market. Many more layoffs are expected in the coming year, in fact. So naturally, the question is, how can one prepare themselves in such a situation? What can one do about it? Here, we are not talking about the problems, but to give out some solutions. To learn more about the solutions, I have my friend Rob Adams with me.
Thank you. Great to be here, Chaitanya.
Thank you. Welcome, Rob. Rob is a cross-cultural trainer and a consultant. Rob runs a YouTube channel called Chai and Coaching. And Rob is the go-to person if you're looking for a job in America. And therefore, I have invited Rob to answer important questions related to this issue of layoffs and hiring freezes. So Rob, let's get started.
Let's do it.
So Rob, my first question is, how do you read the current situation? What is happening with companies in America?
It's bad. And it's going to stay bad for a while, unfortunately. The economy, tech companies and layoffs, all the headlines are negative. I mean, every day on LinkedIn, I see laid off, laid off, laid off, laid off. And it's really just a story of overspending. It's like you've got your credit card and you put a lot of money on your credit card, but then you never pay it off. Eventually, they're going to come collect. And that's what happens with the economy when they overspent during the pandemic, which has made high interest rates, inflation, and the bad recession that we're in now, and it's going to be going on the early next year. And same with tech companies. They overhired, they overspent, they overspeculated during the pandemic, and now they've got to pay. And sadly, instead of the CEOs getting a pay cut, it's with layoffs. So it's a bad situation for jobs, for the economy, the recession, and it's going to be like this for a while.
So Rob, tell me, who according to you is really struggling right now? Those who are already working are scared of losing their jobs. And those who recently lost their jobs have the pressure of finding a new job. But then there are also students who are about to graduate and are looking for jobs. So how do you see their situation overall?
Yeah, so this is hard for everybody. I know people who are working right now are nervous. Am I going to be the next layoff? If you've been laid off, it's a nightmare. It's tough, especially because it's the holiday season. So for the next month or so, American companies are not going to be recruiting. It's Christmas time. Recruiters are not going to be available. So it's going to be about a month before any recruiting happens again. And I know for college students too, who are going to graduate looking for internships or full-time jobs, it's tricky because there's been hiring freezes. And for everyone who's been laid off, they just saturate the job search market even more. So there's a lot of frenzy, a lot of worry. It's hard for everyone right now in the career space. And especially for first-time job seekers, it's going to be even more difficult because now you have the tens and thousands of people who've been laid off also trying to fight for those same jobs. So job search is more competitive. Getting those interviews, online applications are going to be way more competitive than they've ever been before.
So now, Rob, I'm going to ask you questions about each three of these categories. First category is of those people who currently have a job and have not been laid off. Second are those people who have recently been laid off. And third are those students who are about to graduate and are looking for a job in this market. So let us discuss each of these groups. So first group is of those working professionals who currently have a job. What can they do to prevent themselves from losing their job? What can they do to not get laid off?
Yeah, a big question people are asking is, how do I recession-proof my career so I don't be the next layoff? And there's a few things you can do. The first thing is just make sure you're indispensable. Make sure you're in a role that is vital and important, that the day-to-day function of your company depends on, that you're not just a redundancy or a replacement or something that can get outsourced for cheaper. Like, you're the go-to person. That's really important. Also, I know there's been this idea of quiet quitting, of trying to do the least minimal work possible to get a paycheck and not overwork. Well, can't quiet quit anymore. You've got to work. You've got to work hard. You've got to prove your worth. You've got to show that you're worth the paycheck for that company. Because when they think, hey, we've got to let people go, it's the high performers that they're going to keep and the low performers that they're going to let go first. Another thing I've seen in some articles is you can diversify your work portfolio. So some people are doing some gig work, freelance work, side hustles, trying to multiply your streams of income, hedging your bets just in case something bad does happen. You've already got some money coming in other places. You have some other options. It's okay to think ahead, plan ahead. So even if you haven't been laid off yet, get those contingency plans, plan for the future, make yourself someone who they don't want to lay off, but also be in a place that where if it happens, you're ready to act and you've already got other opportunities.
That was very helpful. So now comes the very important category. If you were recently laid off, what can you do to find a new opportunity, especially when the clock is ticking?
Yeah. First of all, to everyone who's been laid off, I am sorry. That's been so many people. My heart's breaking seeing huge companies laying off tens of thousands of people. I know there's been already over 50, 60,000 tech layoffs just this calendar year, and it stinks. So I feel you. It's okay. But remember, your job is not your identity. Just because you've laid off doesn't mean you're a failure, doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just life. It's going to happen. And so, but there's great things you can do. One is you need to figure out, especially if you're on a visa, what's your timeline? What's your status? How much time do you have? And then get into the HR of your company. Make sure you understand what's your severance package, what's your health insurance, what are your options, how many days do you have left, what resources do they have available. A lot of companies actually have resources to help you find your new job. So take advantage of that. They might have immigration lawyers to figure out your visa options, whether how to extend your visa period, how to switch to alternative visas, or if staying on the same visas and transferring is best. So do your research. Make sure you know all the details so you don't make any mistakes and hurt your visa status if you've been laid off. The next best thing is, thankfully, if you've been working, you've already got experience. So rather than posting on LinkedIn, hey, I've been laid off, find me a job, every single day you should be posting on LinkedIn your experience. Talk about your experience, show things that quantify your skills, your impact, your talent. Be posting every day on LinkedIn to show that you're a qualified person and based on the experience you've had. And then if there's a layoff, I know there's going to be lots of people just like you. I know people are forming Slack channels, WhatsApp groups to support each other. Be that support group for each other, spend time, connecting, networking, giving referrals, keeping accountable. Hey, how many applications did you fill out? What have you been doing? And help, even though you're kind of down, to motivate each other. And if you've got that team effort of people who've been laid off in your group or your team, that helps bounce back quicker, find those opportunities, but don't give up hope. Again, if you've already been working at a big, good company, chances are another company is going to want you to come work for them because you already have skills and talent. It just might be in a different location, a different industry, a different company, and be open-minded, and you'll maybe find more opportunities than you know ever existed.
And Rob, you mentioned that the people who are about to graduate from college, they are now competing against their own cohort, plus those people who were recently laid off who already have more work experience. So it becomes even more competitive, right? So what would you suggest to those people who are about to graduate and are looking for a job in this market?
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you're an international student here in America, especially on an F1 visa, there's already 1 million of you guys here. That's enough competition. Now you've got the tens and tens of thousands of people who've been laid off. So the conventional methods are going to be saturated. Applying online, not going to work. It was already a really bad way to get a job in America. It's going to be even worse. If you apply online, right now there's going to be so much competition, so much saturation, you are probably not going to get a job that way. It's going to be all about networking. The jobs that companies are trying to fill are going to be filled through networking, referrals, relationships, and not by applications online. So that's where you're going to want to start. Go to networking events, go to conferences, Go to meetups, go to workshops, do hackathons, case competitions, build that profile, and meet as many people as you need to get that job. Sitting in your apartment applying online is not going to get it done. Getting out, meeting people, because when someone knows you, they know your value, they know you as a person, and they're willing to refer you, to fight for you, to help you. But if you just apply online or ask random strangers on LinkedIn for help, they don't know you and they can't do much for you.
Yeah.
So the deeper relationships you have with professionals in that industry, the more your network is going to be a powerful force for you in your job search. But if you haven't started networking yet, start right now. Build those relationships, give people the chance to get to know you, and that's where the doors of opportunity come from.
So one of the most popular ways to network is now a good profile on LinkedIn. What makes a good profile, and how can people use LinkedIn to build their network and get a job opportunity?
Great, yeah, LinkedIn is so powerful. Most international students use it not in the right way. So here's a couple quick tips for LinkedIn. One, LinkedIn is like your expanded resume, because recruiters are literally using LinkedIn as a search engine. So you want tons of keywords in there. So everything should be filled out. Take your resume and then double it. And that's what your LinkedIn should be. For all of your experience, all of your skills, every little thing you've done, volunteering, projects, papers, put it all on there, write all about it. The more content you have on your LinkedIn profile, the more searchable you're going to be. Obviously, good professional pictures for your profile are important as well. And your headline. Your headline has lots of characteristics, so have lots of content in there of what you're doing, what you're studying, what kind of jobs you're looking for, what skills you have. Plug those keywords in there. And then connecting, networking, it's all about, again, the relationship. Don't just randomly connect people. Write them a personalized message. Tell them who you are, why you want to connect, what you hope to happen from that relationship, what interest you have in them. Explain yourself, and people are going to be more likely to connect with you. Don't ask random strangers to find you a job. That's begging. Instead, like I said earlier, post content every day that helps people get to know you as a person, document your job search journey or your student journey, and then post things that you're doing, accomplishments, skills, certifications, projects. Do things that are tangible for people to click and see, oh, this person is really good at that. That's what's going to draw the eyes of recruiters, team leaders, hiring managers, and get you into those conversations that lead to job interviews.
Yeah. And can I add to that something?
Yeah.
Okay, so one important tip I have is that put a proper professional picture on LinkedIn. Preferably you wearing a suit or some nice picture. I have seen many people without pictures or really bad pictures up there.
Yeah.
And I would also suggest that when you go on LinkedIn, I would say minimize your activity where you're commenting on every other person's profile, because then your likes and your comments pop up on other people's LinkedIn profiles, which they may not always want to see, right? So reach out personally rather than publicly to people. And next thing I have is that I know of one case where this person did really well in his interviews, got the job referral through LinkedIn, and at the end, the HR declined the offer because this person had posted some controversial things on other social media networks like Facebook, right? So be watchful of your social media activity. You might have done everything right, but keep away from controversy is what I would suggest.
Yeah, that can definitely hurt you.
So overall, Rob, in summary, how long do you think this difficult situation might last?
Yeah, I mean, the experts are saying at least most of next year. I think also several months next year. The policies from the government that got us here aren't being changed or fixed. There's no plan to make it better. So we're going to ride this thing out. It's going to have to correct on its own. The government's not going to fix this for us. So I'd say at least the next 6 to 12 months, maybe longer. So rather than crossing your fingers and waiting for a better time, you just have to accept the reality and do the things necessary to get the jobs that you need and want.
Okay, that was very helpful, Rob. So I hope that you got some good tips and suggestions from Rob that you can find very valuable. And if you need more help regarding networking and how to find jobs, you can check out Rob's channel, Chai and Coaching, where you can get a lot of high quality content that will really help you navigate this situation. Thank you for watching.